Welcome, beloveds. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing wonderful and are taking good care of your mental health. So, keeping our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, keeping giving importance to our lives and giving importance to our relationships and everything good that we deserve in our life and everything good that others deserve from us in terms of a loving treatment, a kind treatment, keeping all the goodies in my mind. Today I'm going to talk about forgiveness, and this is part 1 of the topic, so bear with me. Okay, now we're just going to have a free talk, so let's see how this goes. um, Maybe in your own mind, and I want you to journal journal this out later on, that why is it important to forgive, why it is important to forgive, and you can write in the comments your own opinions, your own thoughts. Okay, why it is important to forgive. The question is not that whether one should forgive or not, so uh, listen carefully. Why one should forgive, and while you journal that out, I want you to also think of think about the consequences. So what are the consequences of forgiveness? First, we'll understand it at a very neutral level. Okay, so what are the consequences of forgiveness? So let's say by forgiving, I will feel content, happy, free. There will be no baggage. By forgiving, I will stop judging myself. I will stop judging new people coming into my life, new opportunities, new circumstances. I'll stop judging based on my past hurtful or disappointing experiences. By forgiving, I might have, I will have a more a compassionate outlook towards my life, and I will be not bogged down by depression or extreme level or sadness or hopeless. By forgiving, I will not waste my time, which is very important element here. By forgiving, I will not waste my time. By forgiving, I will learn the lesson and will not repeat the same mistake, or even I might not even attract that kind of circumstance. So these are the examples. Okay, and then on the in the next column, write down consequences of unforgiveness. So what are the consequences of unforgiveness? By not forgiving someone, I'll be like, maybe by not forgiving someone will be like that old tape recorder which just keeps on playing the same music, the same song again and again and again. So rumination. By unforgiving, one will play the same recording in his mind, in his or her mind, or in life. By unforgiving, the consequence will be one will be in hopeless state, in a victim mentality, and will be more down, and it will become difficult over time to actually even have a perspective about it. By unforgiving, one could be in lot of anger, a lot of resentment. By unforgiving, one could have a very distorted and unrealistic expectation, uh, or a fantasy which is never going to come true. I'll explain about this in a minute. So yeah, these are some consequences of unforgiveness, and by unforgiveness, one can never be happy or content, and will be always living in misery and suffering. that too by own choice, right? So, two things I want you to journal. First, why is it important to forgive, or why is it important to practice forgiveness? And second, make two columns. In the first column, you will write forgiveness and the consequences, unforgiveness and its consequences. Now, let's talk about this. So, it is said in our scriptures, in Hindu scriptures, that, and in fact, it is same with all religions. So, one should forgive under all circumstance. That is what I have understood, okay? May not be same for you. But let's just think about it. One should forgive under all circumstance. What does that mean? Mean the circumstance could be negative, could be worst, could be something which is very, very damaging, not unrepairable, and yeah, very, very obnoxious or negative in nature, but one must forgive under any circumstance. By this, what I have understood is that forgiveness is not for another person, forgiveness is for you. By forgiveness, you choose yourself. You may not have chosen, of course, you have not. So, you may not have chosen a negative person or a situation or that unexpected event or circumstance. But by choosing to forgive, you are choosing yourself. You are choosing your own happiness, your own contentment, your own satisfaction, your own freedom. That is a liberating power. There is such a level of freedom in forgiveness. So, one should forgive under all circumstances means that you are choosing yourself regardless of whatever has happened that has disturbed you in some way or the other. You must have heard people saying that I just can't forget what that person said to me. I just can't forget what he did with me. It's just unforgivable. And if you have seen my psychology related sessions like one on cognitive therapy, you will understand that your moods are created by your own thoughts, and that when you are feeling down, really negative, the nature of your thoughts is negative, it's not positive or maybe rational or helpful. So when people say things like that, no, I just can't forgive, the act was unforgivable, मतलब भगवान भी उसको माफ़ नहीं कर पाएंगे, तो मैं तो सिर्फ इंसान ही हूँ, but like really, well, what God will do and what God will not do, let that be decided by God. I don't think any of us are talented enough to interfere with the plans of the universe or with God or with karma. But yes, one should forgive under any circumstance. Look, by bringing your focus on yourself, on your own life, you can consider it, at least you can give yourself a chance to consider it that you can forgive. And because, and you, when you have these thoughts, no, that I cannot forget and it's so difficult, so hard and unforgivable and all of that, it's because that you have not chosen to forgive. And firstly, that willingness needs to be there, that I am willing to forgive, and then you can give yourself the time to go through the steps or the process. But one cannot forget because one is not willing to forgive. Let me give you an example from a psychologist point of view. So we have a memory, and cognitive psychologists have understood about memory. So just give an example. Suppose कि अगर हम कभी कोई चीज़ भूलते ही नहीं, मतलब सब कुछ अगर हमें every single thing अगर याद रहती, तो शायद आप लोग ऐसा सोचो कि सब कुछ बहुत ही अच्छा होता. But really, is it not important to forget few things? I'm not talking about this emotional triggers or big events of our life. I'm just talking generally. Okay, अगर हमें सब कुछ याद रहता, अगर हम कभी कोई चीज़ भूलते ही नहीं, so how terrible it would have been for us. मतलब सब कुछ like how you would have learned the new things, how you would have experienced any new moment or new experience in your life. मतलब robotic हो जाते हैं, there are conditions like that. It's a different story here. बट अगर हम कभी कुछ भूलते ही नहीं तो डोंट यू थिंक इट वुड बी डिफ़िकल्ट टू not like you will not be able to learn any new experiences. In fact, you will not be able to live the life basically. So it is important to forget, but when it comes to forgiveness, हम भूल इसलिए नहीं पाते क्योंकि हम भूलना नहीं चाहते, क्योंकि हम forgive करना नहीं चाहते. And beneath all this thing there is this unrealistic expectation that by making myself suffer, I'll make the other person realize that, see, what you did is unacceptable, what you did is completely wrong, and see, it is because of you I am suffering. So you watch it, you better see it, you better watch it, and here I am suffering, dying, to remind you. So here my death, here my insanity, here my suffering, here my misery is a reminder for you to remember that it's because of you I'm suffering. So this is an unrealistic expectation. This is a negative thought. This is a distorted perception about what has happened. Like really अगर दूसरे इंसान को इतनी समझ होती तो पहले तो वो सुधर गए होते, and दूसरा कि things might have resolved and would have got better and changed. But अगर आप में से किसी को भी ये expectancy है कि by suffering I will remind myself and that the other person will remember, by making other person feel guilty, by making another person feel guilty, the other person will realize and will come and apologize and say sorry, then I'm sorry to disappoint you, and I'm sure you yourself must have also been disappointed if this has been the case, that no, the other person never ever realizes. Okay, and maybe मतलब आप अपनी ज़िंदगी के कितने महीने कितने साल यही एक्सपेक्टेंसी में यही बिलीफ में जीते हो कि one day will come when things will be like this. I mean, you should come out of Disneyland, and I'm a big fan of Disneyland, but gratefully I'm not into any of this fantasy. Okay, कि एक दिन सिंड्रेला का सफरिंग करना बंद हो जाएगा एंड प्रिंस आएगा और उसके भले कितनी भी कॉन्स्पिरेंसी हो रही होगी, कितनी भी चालाकी या स्ट्रेटजी हो रही होगी, वो शूज़ आएगा, उसको गोडाउन में से कहीं से ढूंढेगा, पहना देगा एंड विल हैव अ हैप्पी एंडिंग. Like really, or it's not a Bollywood Karan Johar's movie, when everything is so like, I don't know the word, I mean, but like so pleasant, and that things, like, no, it's not like that. You have to see life in reality. You have to keep yourself in reality, in check with reality. So आपके सफ़रिंग करने से कोई सफ़र नहीं हो जाता, ना ही वो सुधर जाएगा and all of that. So if possible, then of course you negotiate, make amendments, solve it out, and then see what happens. ठीक है? But I'm just focusing right now on that expectancy that by making myself suffer, others will suffer. No, that's not the case. So this is the second thing that I want to highlight. And the third thing, that by brooding over this unpleasant experiences will lead us nowhere. It's the same thing, and therefore you are not able to forget, or you are not willing to forgive, because एक वो गलत expectancy है, and second है हम ruminate करते जा रहे, we are brooding over those unpleasant experiences that has happened, और फिर वो आपको और नीचे down ही ले जाएंगे. So that will not help you. Okay, so keeping these 2 points in mind, journal what I said. Why is it important to practice forgiveness, and forgiveness and unforgiveness consequences, write it down, and then we'll talk more about it. Thank you.